The big sad is that overwhelming feeling after any event. I love using it in contrast to a happy event because that's when we really notice the dichotomy of happy versus sad. So the big sad is the feeling after you've dropped off of this really, 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 really big high. And then you're the next day, whatever, you're in the big sad because it's over.
Welcome to Real Talk with the Parenting Blueprint Coaches, where we discuss all aspects of parenting using the foundation of understanding personality dynamics to raise independent, responsible, and resilient children. My name is Karen Wagner, founder of Teaching Our Youth and the Parenting Blueprint. Let's dig right in with today's topic and have some real talk with the Parenting Blueprint Coaches.
Hello and welcome to this week's Real Talk with the Parenting Blueprint Coaches. I'm here with Janet and I'm Mindy. We're two of the Parenting Blueprint Coaches. And so today we wanted to talk about something that Janet brought up a couple of weeks ago, and I'll let her explain more about what's behind it. But we're going to be talking today about the big sad. And if you've ever experienced it, and just some thoughts about that as you're going through some of these transitions in life. So Janet, I'm going to punt it over to you, and you can talk a little bit more about what the big
I smile and giggle because I can imagine if listeners are hearing that little catchphrase, viewers are listening to that little catchphrase for the first time, they might be sitting there going, what? What does that have to do with anything? So just for clarification, the big sad is that overwhelming feeling after any event. I love using it in contrast to a happy event because that's when we really notice the dichotomy of happy versus sad. So the big sad is the feeling after you've dropped off of this really, 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 really big high. And then you're the next day, whatever, you're in the big sad because it's over. And for me, for those of you who don't know, Mindy was referencing my son just got married. And so you can imagine just all of the celebratory things and the anticipation and the plans and the discussions and all of this. And it was a destination for us. And then it's over. And then you are just left with all of these feelings of hype. And it's over. And so we just called it the big sad. And it was alive and well. You know, it's also a really interesting fact.
I'm curious, how long did it take you to recover?
Yeah. Of course you are, because of the way I said that. I don't. And here's for anyone who's listening and learning about this for the first time. I bring this up because just like everything else in life, there are no rules. And so here I had the big sad while still out of town. I was back 3 days before I finally woke up and said, oh, thank goodness. I think it's starting to wane a little bit. Like it lingered. Who knew? Normally for me, it's just fast. But this time, maybe it was the magnitude or the high was so high, it took a couple of days to recover, three plus to be exact. Isn't that amazing what the brain, like you're the neuroscientist, Mindy, like, you know, it was amazing to me that I couldn't step out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was really interesting.
Well, and I was thinking about my own experiences with the big sad, and you know, it's like that. It's the release, I think, of all the energy and all of the emotion too that goes with it. And I was thinking about my daughter's wedding, and we were even though we had it here in our local town and at our church, and you know, there was a lot of prep that went into it. And so we were there decorating beforehand, and we were doing all these, you know, all of the things that you do before the big event. And then the big event came and it went so quickly. And then afterwards, we're just like sitting there looking over at everything then that needs to be cleaned up. But then also just that the event itself went by so rapidly. And, and then we're like, where did the time go? And so I think that one of the things that really caught my attention about what you shared is that, it was an out of town event and, just all the preparation that goes into even getting ready to go. And then you're there and you're immersed in it, you're really present with it. And then it's like, and then it all ends. And then you're like, oh, okay. So what now?
And to add to that, so this didn't go fast for me.
Okay.
For listeners and viewers, like I'm an introvert. So I, right off the bat, by the time like we arrived on a Wednesday, the wedding was Saturday. There was a lot of peopling leading up to it. So there was just a lot of energy all the way around. But interestingly, I was, am I allowed to say pissed off? I was pissed. I was sitting out by the pool. So I'm like making it for, I'm like, I was practicing. I brought my talk and I'm delivering a big talk on like this week. And so I brought my notes and I'm pacing the pool, talking out loud, probably looking like an absolute moron. And then I finally just sat down to record. And I thought, I'm in such a bad mood. I'm like feeling so pissy about this. So
Mm.
it was just really weird that it was like this plethora of emotions that wasn't just let down and sad. It was just like, I was just in a bad mood. And I sat there for about 10 minutes sitting by the pool. And I was like, why are you in such a big, this is a component of the big sad. So I guess all that to say, don't be seduced by the word sad. Like there was a lot going on in my little brain here, with just a plethora of emotions. So it doesn't just kind of like mourning, mourning. It's not a one size fits all. Like everyone's going to do it a little bit differently, but just allow for it, I guess. A little grace.
I really like what you said too, that it's not necessarily just about being sad, that it comes out in a lot of different ways, and so if we could just say, okay, so I'm just going to be sad, I'm going to be sad for 48 hours or whatever it is, and then I'm going to be okay. It doesn't look like that, right? Because nothing in life really does. And so you're right, because I remember there have been times like this is me leading up to Christmas, for instance. It's like I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot that goes on though. And I am irritable as all get out. I can't even stand myself. So, and then, my kids are like, what's going on with you? And I'm like, I'm getting ready for Christmas. And they're like, well, are you looking forward to it? And I'm like, maybe. So there are, like you said, there are
Yeah.
all these emotions that go with it.
Yeah. And that actually reminds me because of all of the people that once I arrived home, that, of course, immersing back into your world, how many people like said, how was the wedding? And every time I answered, there was like this hesitation. Like,
Mm.
why would there be a hesitation? Right. And so part of it was just like, I'm so glad to be home. Like, I was like, there was like all this stuff. Like, of course it was an amazing event, and like, who says, how was the wedding? Yes, but I mean, it was just this weird reaction. So just go with it. Just know that it's alive and well. And interesting, at 60, and what I would consider a studier of human development, human behavior for 40 years, I think this is the first time I can solidly say I experienced the big sad. So nobody is exempt. Just because you're 60 and you haven't had it yet doesn't mean you're exempt. That's what I got to say about that.
Well, I was just thinking about other times that that people might feel this. And so I'm thinking, because we're coming into the holidays, soonish, because I know Halloween is first, and we have these times when there are lots of gatherings
Yeah.
coming up. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, or whatever holidays that you might celebrate there, and you're going to be around family or friends. And so for those of us who are introverted, and I'm raising my hand on that one too, that it is a lot of peopling, which then brings its own joys and drains, I guess,
Yeah.
around, our energy level, and that affects our mood. And so I think that that's something. And then I'm also thinking about, because I'm relating this to my own experiences, that seniors in high school, a lot of the parents are saying, this is really a happy time. Their kids are, you know, looking forward to all these things that they're going to be doing for the last time. And so the parents, in our audience may be feeling that too, is, this is the last time I'll go to this, or this is the last time I'll go to that. And there might be some relief, and there also might be some sadness or some frustration if our kids don't necessarily want to do some of those last things, that will mark this time period.
Yep. For those who have never experienced it or have some event like you just described coming up, like, because, like, what is there something, not what, is there something that one can do in anticipation? For example, you just mentioned the holidays, kind of a mixed bag of emotions, because yes, the holidays are wonderful, and yes, they are a lot of work. So your emotions are already anticipating this teetering. So
Mm.
so is there something that we can do to prepare, to mentally prepare? Is there anything? Is it because we have expectation? And then I don't know. I didn't honestly, I don't know that there's a book about how to survive the big sad. Maybe I'm sure somebody has done a white paper on, the aftermath of very high emotions. There's must be literature on that, but we're really smart people. So just being thoughtful about oh, I'm going into, uh, let's say Christmas, right? I'm going into the Christmas season. I already know X, Y, Z, A, and B. Maybe I should think about what happens when G, F, J, and K show up, right? Can we train our brains? Or maybe we don't want to manifest. I don't know. I don't know that we have the answer. I just think it's interesting. I don't know what causes any or all of this. I just know that, boy, when it shows up, it caught me a little off guard, gotta say.
Well, and I'm thinking about what you're saying, and because you haven't really experienced that a whole lot before, if ever, I don't know. Um, but I'm just wondering, like you said, is there something that our audience can do if they're anticipating some of these things? Because I think there is that sense of anticipation, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, right? It could be a mixed bag. I'm just wondering, is even the awareness, first of all, just like being able to observe,
That's what I was
and be
going.
aware, that it could be a whole host. It could be X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, and then jump all the way to P.
I think I think if so, let's just land on it right here. Being present and allowing yourself a window of just a few moments, whether it's in the shower or whatever it is, and just checking in. I am feeling blank, whatever it is, good or bad or confused, whatever it is, just check in and just know and give yourself permission and grace to just say, okay, this is what I'm feeling right now. And just stay connected with that so that you can feel more in control of it. Not that it's a control thing, but just to understand it.
I
Right?
think to understand it and manage it.
Yeah, perfect. Great word. Manage it. And not to be afraid when somebody says, how's it going? Don't be the robot that just goes, fine, right? When you're not fine. Just I'm feeling a little conflicted today, or I'm feeling a little sad, or boy, I'm a little ambivalent, and it's all okay. But just don't acknowledge you as not necessarily being fine if you're not fine. I love that, managing it. That's great. Feel all the feels. It's all okay. You're going to
Yes, exactly.
you can do a PDF for our viewers because you're really good at that. I'm just kidding. But maybe at some point we can make a PDF to, that would be a good one to put on all of our websites.
Mhm.
How to manage emotions. Well, maybe we'll work on that, and then we'll just put it on all of our websites on Parenting by Design, so
I
that
think that
parents
sounds
can
like a
access
plan.
that. Yeah, really, because that's like
Yeah,
a thing. It's a thing, people. It's just a thing.
it is, and I think that and putting it into context like that, that it's a thing and that we all experience it.
Yeah,
And, we may not be aware of it. And so I think now we have some of that awareness, and then, like you said, understanding and then managing, those are the steps to really be able to move through these experiences that we have, whatever they are. Um,
solid.
mhm.
That's probably a great place to say, enjoy your day, week, month, whatever, and just check in with yourself. Like that should be part of the morning routine, or the lunch break routine, or while you're preparing dinner, or at night while you're getting yourself ready to, retire for the day. Just kind of like check in and just be like, how do I feel today? Like it's okay not to be okay 100% of the day. Boy, that's a writer downer.
That is.
It's okay to not be okay all day. That actually is not bad. It's also okay to be okay all day, but in case you're not, it's okay too. And on that note, take us home. Say
Well, I
goodbye,
think
Gracie.
goodbye, Gracie. Yeah. So this is just, these are the types of conversations, the things that come up in our daily lives that we wanted to share with you. And that's really what Real Talk with the Parenting Blueprint Coaches is all about, recognizing who you are and how you interact in the world and the way that you manage these day-to-day situations. So we hope that you found some value in what we've shared today, and we invite you to give us comments, or if you have questions, please let us know. But in the meantime, know that we are here, and we are here to support you and cheering for you. So
Can
on
I
that note,
can I add
yeah,
one?
please, yeah,
If
please.
you have an example, story, or a strategy that has worked for you, please comment below because we really want to know. Okay, reframe. I know I really want to know because this obviously, as I've shared, is a new experience. So I would love to know what people, under which circumstances, events, blah, 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 and what does that look like for everybody? I'm on a quest now for a new social experiment. So please comment below so I get a little extra education.
Well, let's learn and grow together.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks,
Oh,
Janet.
thank you.
Mhm.